How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to We the Fandom. Happy to have you here as we talk about what's going on in the Sony Spider-Verse, specifically with the release of the trailer for the third and possibly last Venom film. I have some thoughts on that too, which I'll get to, but the big question is Venom 3 going to be a multiverse film? First, I'm going to talk about the things that I disliked in the trailer so that we can get that out of the way and end the video on a positive note. I also want to note that I'm not well read on the leaks and rumors regarding Venom 3. Everything that I'm going to talk about is solely involved with the trailer and things we already know from the Sony Spider-Verse as well as the MCU. Now, the first knock on the trailer was definitely the bit of MCU style humor when Eddie was trying to say, "We are Venom," and Venom kept interrupting him. It's that Joss Whedon formulaic humor that worked in phase one of the MCU, but has now become a crutch, not just for the MCU, but for who knows how many action franchises at this point. I got tired of it a long time ago. The other thing that bugged me about the trailer, and it's unfortunately something central to the story itself, and that is the plot, or at least the plot elements that we're presented with. Because honestly, it looks like a lot of the same stuff from Venom 1. Venom is on the run from a paramilitary organization studying the symbiotes and has to fight another symbiote, or at least a symbiote like creature that I'm hoping hails from the planet Clintar, like in Marvel Comics, though I seriously doubt that Null the symbiote god will make a cameo in this movie or in the Sony Spider-Verse at all, given how it's gone so far. And I guess I just expected a little bit more from the third film. This is just a trailer, so we don't know entirely what's going on. And in the history of Venom in Marvel Comics, he does spend a lot of time fighting symbiotes and law enforcement. But given that this is a trilogy of films and that this is the last film, I just hoped they would have gone in a slightly different direction. Not saying I wanted fan service with some random cameo, but a villain character that just adds something different and raises the stakes somewhat. For the things that I liked about the trailer, I enjoyed the action scenes, which is cool. That's one thing that I think the Venom trilogy does pretty well is keeping the audience engaged with action scenes. And the CGI as well. I feel like they've gotten the Venom CGI to a point where it's about as perfect as it's gonna get. So those were my likes and dislikes, pretty short list. But now we're going to talk about the big question that I think is on the minds of a lot of eagle-eyed fans who noticed a very specific scene in the trailer, and that would be the bartender from Spider-Man No Way Home with a little piece of the Venom symbiote and the character played by Chiwetel Ejiofor. I probably butchered that name, but he's the guy who played Baron Mordo in Doctor Strange and Doctor Strange 2, which is what brings up the multiverse stuff. So at the end of Venom 2, Eddie Brock and Venom went to take a vacation in, I think it was Mexico, and when they were staying in a hotel, they were transported to the MCU timeline, and they saw Spider-Man on TV. And then at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, in the post-credit scene, Eddie and Venom were at a bar where this bartender was explaining to him basically the state of that universe and aliens and Thanos and all that. But before they could finish the conversation, Eddie was sucked back into his own universe. But if you remember, there was a tiny piece of the Venom symbiote left over. Now, in the trailer, we get the same bartender, probably same piece of the symbiote at the bar, and Chiwetel Ejiofor's character, who I believe is named Orwell Taylor, there to collect the sample. Now, Orwell Taylor in the comics is a guy whose son was killed by Venom, and so he created a paramilitary law enforcement group called the Jury, whose sole goal was to go after Venom. In the film, it looks like he's doing something similar, but also investigating the other symbiotes or samples of symbiote that are left over. But here's the interesting thing. The actor playing Orwell Taylor has also played Baron Mordo in two separate universes. And we know via No Way Home that the Sony Spider-Verse is connected to the MCU multiverse. So theoretically, the actor should be playing Baron Mordo in all universes, but he's playing Orwell Taylor in this one. So either Sony just doesn't care and they just wanted the actor because they thought he was good for the role, or, and this is kind of a crazy theory, it is Baron Mordo, or a version of Baron Mordo in this universe, who traveled from possibly a different universe and is basically collecting multiverse symbiotes, because as we also learned from Venom 2, is that every symbiote is connected to every other symbiote, not just in their own universe, but across the multiverse. And so with Baron Mordo in Doctor Strange 2 trying to halt the incursions by getting rid of Doctor Strange from the 616 universe, perhaps he is collecting multiverse symbiotes to either prevent the incursions or use the connection that the symbiotes have to basically empower certain characters from across the multiverse and help them to stop the incursions. Again, it's a crazy theory, and there's really not much backing it up, except for the fact that Orwell Taylor is shown collecting that piece of symbiote from the bartender, and that bartender was in the MCU timeline. So, how did Orwell Taylor get there unless Eddie, once he was transported back to his own universe, went to the same bar, talked to the same guy, which is definitely possible, but also left a piece of the symbiote there as well? It's possible, but is it probable? And would the writers of Venom 3 even care to take this into the multiverse if it's the final film and possibly Tom Hardy's last run at Venom? I have no idea. I have no idea what the plans are for the Sony Spider-Verse. Seeing how well it's gone so far with Morbius flopping and with Madam Web flopping even harder, and the fact that they pushed back Craven by a whole year, I think this franchise might end with Venom 3 if they don't start putting Spider-Man into these films. This could be the film where they do it, but I kind of doubt it. And again, I don't think they're going to do Null the Symbiote God. And even though there is some evidence, or at least coincidental evidence, I'm not sure that the multiverse concept is really on the table for this film. And if you guys remember from the Morbius trailer, Spider-Man was supposed to appear at least in the form of a cameo on a wanted poster, I believe it was, for Morbius. They took that out of the film. They also took mentions of Spider-Man out of Madam Web. So it's possible that they're kind of seeing the writing on the wall and they plan on ending the Sony Spider-Verse with Venom 3. And that's why they've kind of gotten rid of mentions of Spider-Man because they don't want to get fans' hopes up. I have no idea. It would certainly make the plot more interesting than simply Venom fighting another paramilitary organization. And we have the character Toxin in there as well. The policeman Patrick Mulligan from Venom 2. He's basically Toxin, and Toxin in the comics was Patrick Mulligan was the first host for the Toxin symbiote, Toxin being the offspring of Carnage. And then later on, he dies, and Eddie Brock becomes the next host for Toxin. So, unless it really is as simple as it seems, then I have no idea where this film is going. It'd be cool if they did multiverse stuff. I don't see it as a likely option, but we can keep our hopes up. Let me know what you guys think about the trailer and the future of the Sony Spider-Verse in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you would hit that like and subscribe button, as well as the notification bell so that you don't miss out on more content like this. Thanks for watching.